Welcome to the regular board meeting of the Board of Trustees for the West Ada School District. It is Monday, July 13th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Before we begin tonight, I just want to celebrate with everyone the wonderful July 4th, the 250th celebration of our country. Hope everyone had a lovely day. I think it's a great opportunity for us to bond as a community and as a country. I had a wonderful time myself, and I've heard beautiful things, seen wonderful posts, and just want to congratulate everyone and celebrate that as we'll continue to celebrate it throughout this year. And on that note, if you'd all please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
Madam Chair, there are none.
Perfect. Well, with that, I'll turn the time over to Dr. Bubb for reports and spotlights.
Madam Chair, trustees, obviously been a busy few weeks here in West Ada. A lot of planning going on, getting ready for as soon as we get rid of school or get students out of school, we are planning for the next school year. And so we're excited about that, but probably nothing more exciting than being able to introduce our new Chief Technology Officer. And so I will bring up Renee Sinander, our Chief Human Resources Officer, to talk a little bit about Chris.
All right, good evening, Chair Frazier, trustees, Superintendent Dr. Bubb. Before I dive into this recommendation and introduction, I just want to say after 11 years of service, we extend deep appreciation to Devin DeLashmet for his leadership, dedication, and many contributions he made to West Ada's technology department. I'd also like to thank the technology's leadership team, the executive team, and Chair Frazier for their thoughtful participation throughout this hiring process. It was evident that throughout the process that this role was one of high importance to everyone involved. So this evening, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Chris Campbell as West Ada School District's next Chief Technology Officer. Mr. Campbell brings extensive technology leadership experience in both education and government, including serving as Chief Information Officer for the Idaho State Board of Education and previously as Chief Technology Officer for the Idaho State Department of Education. Throughout his career, he has led major technology initiatives, strengthened cybersecurity, expanded statewide connectivity, and developed data systems to support both student success and organizational effectiveness. Just as importantly, throughout the interview process, Mr. Campbell demonstrated a collaborative leadership style, thoughtful decision-making, and a genuine enthusiasm for serving West Ada. He is highly respected throughout Idaho's education community, and we are confident in his experience, relationships, and vision will serve our district well as we continue to strengthen the technology systems that support our students, staff, and schools. We're thrilled to welcome Mr. Campbell to the executive leadership team and look forward to the expertise and innovation that he will bring to this role. Mr. Campbell does have a few words for you this evening and is ready to address any questions you may have.
Chair Frazier, trustees, Superintendent Bubb, thank you for allowing the opportunity to introduce myself to you. It's a profound honor to join the West Ada leadership team, and I want to express my sincere appreciation to the board and district leadership for entrusting me with this responsibility. I'm incredibly excited to serve the staff, the students, and the community of Idaho's largest school district. My professional journey in education technology spans over 25 years, having served as the CIO for the Idaho State Board of Education and as an Associate Deputy Superintendent and CTO for the State Department of Education. I built my career on recruiting and leading collaborative teams focused on providing resources to Idaho's educators and students while protecting the data with which we were entrusted. However, my foundational understanding of day-to-day district operations developed during my 7 years as the Director of Technology at the Genesee School District. Over the course of my career, whether managing statewide broadband programs or data systems, or supporting classroom learning tools at the district level, my focus has always been the same, ensuring that technology serves as a seamless, secure foundation for student success. To encapsulate my leadership style, I view myself as a collaborative systems thinker. Technology infrastructure is a massive piece of the puzzle, but it is ultimately there to support the broader picture, our educators and students. I'm deeply aware of how much trust our community places in the district. Every system choice we make directly impacts somebody's child, and that responsibility guides my professional focus daily. I want to take a moment to explicitly acknowledge the outstanding foundation laid by my predecessor, Devin DeLashmet. His dedicated leadership has left West Ada's technology ecosystem in a position of strength. I'm deeply committed to honoring and building upon that legacy, alongside our talented IT team in collaboration with our district and school leaders. During my first 90 days, my priority is to listen, learn, and collaborate. I look forward to working closely with this board, Superintendent Bubb, and our administrators to ensure our technology investments deliver clear, measurable value and support our staff, students, and the larger community. Thank you for this warm welcome tonight.
Well, Mr. Campbell, we're so excited to welcome you to the West Ada family. We know you're not new to technology by any stretch of the imagination, but we're grateful for the technology department we have and the hard work they do. They really are the foundation for a lot, well, most all, of what happens in West Ada, and excited to have you be a part of that. We would love to get a picture with you tonight, and after we take one, we'd love to invite up anyone you would like to add to that. Take a second, all right? All right, thank you. That takes us to patron input tonight. We did not have anyone signed up, but just as a reminder, if anyone would ever like to, you have 2 minutes to speak, and we like to keep that to high-level policy procedure, never an individual, an employee, a staff member, a student, anything like that, so just for future knowledge. With that, we'll move to consent agenda. I'm open to a motion. Trustee Benetti.
I move that we accept the consent agenda unanimously.
Do I have a second? Trustee McCullough?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. We'll now go to new business, and we'll begin with the possible rescindment of policy 100.03, which will be presented by Amy White.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Trustees, and Dr. Bubb. Before you tonight on our new business agenda, the first matter is a recommendation to rescind policy 100.03, the Code of Ethics for the Idaho teaching profession. This is identified as a first reading, and there is an action item associated with it, should you choose to go that route this evening. This is a short one-sentence policy that indicates that the trustees would adhere to the Code of Ethics for the Idaho teaching profession. We believe the policy is unnecessary because there are 2 other policies that address the matter. First being policy 201.01, which is the board's Code of Ethics that is specific to the board. It isn't the teacher's Code of Ethics trying to apply to the board, but rather the board's Code of Ethics. That is more specific and more appropriate for the board. With regard to the second, it is policy 403.50 AR1 that addresses adherence to the Code of Ethics for the teaching profession in regard to personnel. Clearly, that is the appropriate placement for this policy, as it is in the personnel section of our Policies Handbook. With that, I would stand for any questions that you might have. And as I indicated, this is identified as a first reading, but it is also identified for possible action should the board choose to address it as such.
Are there any comments or questions? Trustee
Madam
Benetti?
Chair, point of order. I think it would be, even though this is a rescission and it's a pretty straightforward one, I still think that even though we're not reading new policy or modifying existing, even though it's a rescission, I think we should still have 3 opportunities for the public to comment on it should they choose. So I would not be supportive of actually taking action tonight and would actually recommend that we place it on the agenda. And I'll just get ahead of myself and say the same thing for the next one as well. Because even though they're rescissions and we're not adding new language, we are removing what is there. And so I think it would be appropriate for the public to have 3 opportunities to comment on that should they choose.
I'm watching other members of the policy committee nod, but I'll give the opportunity. Anyone on the board care to comment, or are we all comfortable waiting? Okay.
Yeah, actually,
Yes, sir?
Ms. White, is there any reason statutorily that we would do this as a first in action? Because I know that first in action are appropriate if we're statutorily required or we're just fixing a typo. But is there anything pressing time-wise?
The only, well, first of all, we definitely could have this approved at the 3rd meeting, which I believe is the 2nd meeting in August. That is solely your discretion as a board. The only issue that could arise would be that if somebody wanted to pursue a grievance against the board associated with the board's violation of the terms and provisions of this policy. It's been in existence for a number of years and nobody's ever done that, so I think the likelihood is probably slim, of course, until I just said that and gave somebody that idea. But there is nothing legally that requires you to change this associated with the recent legislative session.
So I'll just ask one more time. Anyone have any conversation on why we should do a motion this evening? Okay, with that, we will not. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next we will hear about policy 300.04, and that will be presented by Renee Sinander.
All right, good evening, Chair Frazier, trustees, Superintendent Dr. Bubb. I have before you a first reading of policy 300.04, reassignment of administrative employees. This policy is recommended for rescission because it is not necessary as a standalone policy and overlaps with existing district policies and practice. Administrative employees serve under a 1-year administrative contract and, where applicable, retain any property rights associated with a previously earned renewable teaching contract under Idaho law. The provisions related to administrative performance and employment decisions are more appropriately addressed in policy 300.05, school administrator evaluations. Rescinding this policy eliminates redundancy while maintaining the district's existing authority and its obligations. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any comments or questions? And again, as was just presented, I'll give everyone an opportunity. Is there anyone that would like to take action this evening? All right, thank you so much. We'll let you move on to policy 401.8.
Thank you. Chair Frazier, trustees, Superintendent Dr. Bubb. I have before you a first reading of policy 401.80, professional negotiations. This proposed update is to ensure compliance and alignment with the recent passing of House Bill 516. Edits to this policy followed the established review process with the policy committee. As part of this change, recommended edits were made accordingly to the accompanying administrative regulation, and therefore we recommend the board take the action to approve the edits in the policy 401.80, and I'm happy to answer any other questions you may have.
All right, comments or questions? Trustee Benetti?
And so this is one that was first in action based on statutory requirements.
Yes, that is correct. Thank you, Trustee Benetti.
All right, any other comments? Seeing none, I'm open to a motion. Trustee Benetti?
I move that we approve policy 401-80 and accompanying administrative regulations as presented by Chief Human Resources Officer Renee Sinander.
Is there a second? Trustee McCullough?
I'll second.
Any conversation? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you so much. If we can invite Mr. Cliff Rice up to please go over policy 510.10, that would be lovely.
Good evening. Chair Frazier, trustees, and Dr. Bubb. Tonight presenting policy 510.10 enrollment for its first read. This policy is to establish the board's commitment to welcoming all eligible students into the West Ada School District and to direct the superintendent or designee to develop procedures that facilitate the enrollment process for students and families. This policy has been reviewed by the policy committee and is located in the board packet. Under the board, proposed policy, you will also see Administrative Regulation 51010, student enrollment, which recognizes the district's existing enrollment procedures into a single parent-friendly resource that clearly explains each enrollment option available in the West Ada School District. The administrative regulation organizes enrollment into 6 easy-to-follow sections, including traditional enrollment, open enrollment, schools of choice, early childhood special education preschool, dual enrollment and homeschool dual enrollment, and registration requirements, making it easier for our families to navigate the enrollment process. Overall, the goal of the administrative regulation was not to change any of the district's enrollment practices currently, but rather to organize them into a clear, comprehensive, and parent-friendly document that helps families understand each enrollment pathway and exactly what steps they need to take to enroll their student in West Ada School District. Happy to stand for any questions or proposed edits.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Trustee Benetti?
Well, I know this is the first policy that you're presenting worked on. I know it was a big one. It represented a tremendous amount of effort, so I'm just going to use this opportunity to say kudos, well done, thank you. I know there was a lot of work that went involved with it and that you had to interface with a lot of different people to make it more parent-friendly, but I appreciate the effort, appreciate you're here.
Yeah,
and
Trustee Benetti, thank you.
congratulations on your first presentation.
Thank you.
And with that, Trustee Benetti, I want to thank Policy Committee, which includes Vice Chair Zuna, Trustee Benetti, and many people sitting at this table and others, and your work as well. I so appreciate, on behalf of parents and the public, the streamlining that's going on. You know, we really do sit at a place where we don't live in the school district world. I mean, we get to sit at this chair, but we don't live in it, which I think is good, and that's the representation we're supposed to bring in. So it's nice. When I look over it and think this makes sense, I think that the public will understand this better. So I really do appreciate all you're doing. Any other comments? All right, sir, 512.10.
Chair Frazier, trustees, and Dr. Bubb. Next presenting policy 51210, adult enrollment 21 years of age and older for its first read. This policy is to establish the board's direction for allowing individuals who are 21 years of age or older to enroll in a district when practical to complete the requirements for a high school diploma, and to direct the superintendent or designee to develop procedures for implementation. This policy has been reviewed by the policy committee and is provided in the board packet. Underneath the proposed policy, you'll also see an AR 51210, adult enrollment 21 years of age or older, which establishes the procedures for adults who wish to return to school and complete the requirements for a West Ada School District high school diploma. The administrative regulation establishes a structured enrollment process for adult learners, requiring an eligibility meeting with the chief academic officer and the development of an individualized student enrollment plan outlining graduation requirements, timelines, tuition, and payment expectations. It provides a flexible virtual learning pathway through rebound, includes procedures for evaluating prior credits and monitoring student progress, and ensures that students who successfully complete all requirements earn a West Ada School District high school diploma. I'll stand for any questions or proposed edits.
Any comments or questions? All right, thank you. 517.1.
All right, let the party continue. Chair Frazier, trustees, and Dr. Bubb. Next, I'll be presenting policy 51710, international exchange students for, again, its first read. This policy is to establish the board's support for welcoming international exchange students into West Ada School District and to direct the superintendent or designee to develop procedures that govern their enrollment in compliance with applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations. This policy has been reviewed again by the policy committee and is located in the board packet. Underneath the proposed policy, you'll also see an AR 51710, international exchange students, which establishes the procedures necessary to implement the policy. In this regulation, the administrative regulation establishes a consistent process for enrolling international exchange students by defining eligibility requirements, academic expectations, English language proficiency standards, and the responsibilities of the sponsoring organization. It also creates clear accountability measures and application timelines to ensure exchange students are well supported while maintaining a clear enrollment process for the district. Happy to stand for questions.
Any comments or questions? All right, again, thank you for all the hard work on that. As I read through that earlier, it's impressive what you guys have streamlined. So again, thank you. All right, we'll go to 53210.
All right. Chair Frazier, trustees, and Dr. Bubb, lastly, I'll be presenting 53210 policy, student safety, privacy, and support for its first read. This policy is to establish the board's expectations for maintaining student safety, privacy, and a supportive learning environment while directing the superintendent or designee to develop administrative procedures that implement these expectations in compliance with applicable federal, state, and local laws. This policy has been reviewed by the policy committee and is located in your board packet. Underneath the proposed policy, you'll also see attached the administrative regulation 53210, student safety, privacy, and support, which establishes the procedures necessary to implement the board's direction while ensuring compliance with recently enacted Idaho law. The administrative regulation strengthens the parent involvement by outlining expectations for student support plans and requiring that, consistent with Idaho Code Section 321016, parents and guardians be notified within 72 hours whenever a minor student requests to participate in or facilitate a social transition at school. This includes requests related to names, pronouns, facility use, or participation in sex-separated activities. Again, that is in compliance with Idaho Code Section 321016, moving from a reasonable time frame to now a 72-hour time frame for reporting. Happy to stand for any questions.
Any comments or questions? Vice Chair Zuna.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Rice, thank you for going through this. Quick question for you. I know that we made some changes because of the Idaho law changes that are there. In addition to that, though, is there anything in this policy that doesn't match our current practice, what we've already had in place?
Chair Frazier, Trustee Azuna, to my knowledge, again, I'm not the author of this, but have done a lot of research over the last couple weeks in conjunction with Mrs. White. There's nothing that we're out of compliance with other than the 72-hour that we need to implement.
Great. So my understanding, being on policy committee when we were going through this, we really were just outlining in policy what our practice is and what it has been. And then we made the few revisions. We were sitting on this waiting to present it, but then we made the few revisions we needed to match Idaho.
To my knowledge, I'll defer to Dr. Bubb.
Yeah, Madam Chair, trustees, just to give a outside view on this, because Mr. Rice is just coming in on this. This has been a policy that really we've been working on for some time. It's been in practice for a long time, but really putting it down on paper and making sure we had a large committee of people that we put together, both internal and external folks that came together to help to guide this. The only change that we had to make of recent, prior to bringing it to the board, was to align it with our recent legislation that just passed in this last legislative season.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much. Okay, with that, we move to good of the order. We also did not have anyone sign up this evening, but as a reminder, good of the order is not streamlined just to what is on the agenda. It can be to things that are unagendized, but it also gives a 2-minute clock and needs to be kept to things that are policy, procedure, higher level, nothing that would be towards an individual, so just for future knowledge. I'm open to any future agenda items. Seeing none, I am open to a motion to adjourn. Trustee Benetti.
I move we adjourn.
Is there a second? Trustee McCullough.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Enjoy your summer evening, and we will adjourn at 6:25.